Today I want to show you some accessories that you can get for your turntable to help you enjoy your vinyl and get the most out of your turntable. So I want to first start out by showing you some products that can help maintain your turntable and records. And this is a product from Groove Washer, which comes with a brush that you can use with this solution to clean your records. And it also comes with a stylus brush and a fluid that you can put on that brush to clean your stylus. So let me show you how this works. So the way I use the Groove Washer is I take the solution, I put a couple sprays on the record, and then I take the brush and I just clean around it in the direction of the grooves. Just come around like this, one or two times. And then I kind of tip it and I come around with the dry edge and kind of dry it off. So that's how I do just a quick cleaning of the record if it looks like it's a little dirty before I start playing it. Now as far as the stylus cleaner goes, what I do is I'm going to put a few drops, 2 or 3 drops of the stylus cleaner onto the tip of this brush. So let's put a couple drops on there. And what you're going to want to do then is get down here and just kind of brush that stylus in this direction a few times. You don't want to go in this direction that is opposing the angle on the stylus. You always want to come towards you. Now an alternative to the brush we had just talked about, the record cleaning brush, you can always just use a nice high quality microfiber and you can pretty much do the same thing. Spray some on the record, wipe around it, kind of like this, you know, and then you can even kind of dry it off. Just go around like this, and it pretty much will serve the same purpose. Now another item that I would recommend is a gel cleaner for your stylus. This is an alternative to the brush I had talked about earlier, the little brush. I have both. Sometimes I'll use one, sometimes I'll use the other. I tend to like the gel cleaner because all you really have to do is set it on the platter. Do not set it on your record. Take the record off, set it on your platter, and then just lower the stylus into the gel a few times. Maybe move it over a little bit and do it again. And any contamination on the end of that stylus will stick to that gel. Now, the gel is cleanable. So after a while, if it's starting to get kind of dirty, you can clean that with water. And when you're done, I suggest always putting this protective cover back on there, as well as the main cover. Another product that I would recommend for cleaning your records is this. This is just like a dry cleaning that you would do, and it is supposed to also help reduce static. So the way this works is you would move your arm over the record and get the record spinning, but don't drop the needle down onto the record. Then just set this on the record, let it spin around a few times. You don't have to push too hard. You're just trying to clean some dust and stuff off the record. And then move it over off to the edge like this, and the record should be good to go. And then just kind of, what I usually do is just wipe this a couple times, kind of cleans the bristles off. You don't want to do that with your hand. You don't want to wipe off those bristles with your hand and transfer any oils from your skin onto that brush. So the next product that I really like is called a record mitt. Now what it is it's just basically felt on the inside of this, and it allows you to grab your record out of your sleeve and pull it out a lot easier than without it. This way you don't get oil onto your records as easily, and you can keep them cleaner longer. So you just basically reach into your sleeve, grab your record out, and then set it on your turntable. Now let's move on to some products that I think might help your sound quality a little bit. We'd already talked about some things that'll keep your records clean, keep your turntable, performing properly. But now let's look at something that can maybe help the sound quality a little bit. And the first product I want to talk about is this record weight. So this is about 1 pound, and it sits right down over the spindle on your record like this. And what that does is it helps stabilize your record. It helps push the record down onto your platter and much more firmly to help reduce any vibrations or help flatten out your record a little bit to help give you a better playback quality. The next thing that can help with your playback quality is replacing your slip mat with an acrylic slip mat. So this is an acrylic slip mat, which is basically just a really hard plastic, and what it allows is a better transfer of the record onto this surface, and it gives it a much more solid surface for the record to be on that can help reduce vibration. Now, a cork slip mat or a rubber slip mat are also pretty good choices, but there's a lot of people that swear by these acrylic slip mats. Now this slip mat, on one side it's completely smooth, and on the other side, on the top side here, it's machined down. And the reason it's machined down is that when you put your record on, if your record label is protruding a little bit, the record label can be sitting down in this machined area, so the record can remain flat. The next thing I would recommend would be a little light that you can place on your turntable so that if you're playing in a dimly lit area, you can see where you're placing your stylus. Not all record players have a built-in light, and you don't want to be turning on your main lights just because you flipped your record and you want to get it playing again. So I would recommend a light like this. And the way this one works is you just twist this and it lights up. And you can just place this in position so that it lights up your stylus area so that you can see what you're doing in a dimly lit area. This also is USB to recharge it. So if it starts going low on battery, you can just stick this into a USB charger and charge it back up. Now let's get into a few devices to help make sure that your turntable is set up properly. So what we have here is a scale. So let's open this scale up, and what you'll do is you'll set this on your platter, and then you'll rest your stylus on right here, and you can measure what the vertical tracking force is of your stylus. So you'll set this on the platter, you'll move this over, and then you can lower the needle down onto it. Let's zero it out first. Lower it down on there, and you can see that that is 2 grams. Let's show you that. So you can see that I have that set at just over 2 grams. Now this is the recommended force for the stylus that I have on there. So it's always best to check with the manufacturer of the stylus you have and set your counterweight accordingly. And the counterweight is back here. You can just dial that down to get the right force you need on your record. So the next thing I would recommend would be to get this gauge that helps zero out your tracking error. What you want is you want your stylus to drop down onto the groove exactly perpendicular to that groove. So what you'll do is you'll set this down on the turntable. Once you have that placed over the spindle here, you're going to bring your stylus over and you're going to lower it down right over the crosshairs on this outer portion. Once you do that, you're going to want to make sure that your cartridge is parallel with the lines on the gauge. You're also going to want to make sure that the end of your head shell is in line with the lines on the gauge in this direction. Now if your cartridge isn't lined up with the lines, what you're going to want to do is loosen these screws and twist your cartridge so that it is in line with the lines on the gauge. Basically, what we're looking for is that the stylus is tangent to the grooves on the record. Now, after making any necessary adjustments on this side, you're going to want to go over to this side and check it and see how it is. Now, if it needs to be adjusted, after you make those necessary adjustments, come back and check this. Ultimately, what you want is a compromise between the two. Now, the next accessory that I have is this clear block with these lines on it. This is going to do two things. I'm going to use it, one, to check my play arm to make sure it's parallel with my record. And I'm also going to put this in front of my stylus to make sure my stylus isn't tilted. So what you're going to want to do with the block is gently place it on a record and drop your arm down, your stylus onto the record, and look to see if that arm is lined up with the lines on the block. Now mine is not exact. Mine is drooping or sloping down just a bit, but the only thing I could really do about that is to add a little thickness to my slip mat. But I think I'm just going to leave this alone. I think it's just fine because I don't have one that's adjustable. Sometimes they're adjustable here, but if it was off by more than a couple units, I would probably go ahead and make that adjustment. But here I think I'm pretty close. I'm only maybe a millimeter off. So I think we're just going to leave this like it is. Now the other check that you're going to want to do with this block is you're checking to make sure that that stylus, let's see, is not tipped this way or this way. So if we look straight on, there's some lines on there that you can line up with the stylus. And you can see that this is straight up and down. So we are going to leave this alone too. Now if this needed an adjustment, what I would do is I would loosen these screws right here, and I would probably put something underneath where it attaches back under here and shim that a little bit. But as long as it wasn't off by very much, I think I would just end up leaving it alone. But in any case, this is definitely something that is worth checking, especially after changing your stylus. Now the last accessory that I would suggest is not really an accessory to the turntable, but it is some sort of a display so you can show what record you're playing and maybe what you have coming next. I mean, this is all a part of the vinyl experience, is to see the artwork, you know, have it on display, show what you're playing, and enjoy the art that the artist has given you. So I hope this video helped you. I hope it helped you learn about a few new accessories, a few things that can help improve your sound quality, help you take care of your collection, help you just get a little more hands-on experience with your records, because that's what it's meant to be. If you didn't want the hands-on experience, you would not have pursued vinyl in the first place. You would be listening to CDs or even just streaming your music. So this is all just part of the vinyl experience, and I really would like and hope that you would embrace all the small details that are involved with this process. Thank you for watching. Please give me a thumbs up and a comment, and we'll see you next time.